we'll just kind of start with just a wrap up of it all as a whole. You guys dealt 4 of your unrestricted free agents and picked up 5 draft picks along the way, as well as Connor Carrick, a young defenseman. Just your thoughts first on how you would essentially grade what you got done here at the trade deadline.
I can grade myself?
Grade yourself. I need a letter.
This will be easier in school, I can tell you that. I think what we did was we did what we set out to do, and that was our expiring contracted players, our veteran players, to do what was probably right for us and right for them at the same time, and that's to give them an opportunity to play in the Stanley Cup playoffs if there was a right fit for them. And certainly I think the way it shook out, started with Brian Boyle to Nashville for a 2nd-round pick, and ended up today with Marcus Johansson to Boston for a 2nd and 4th-round pick. I think we achieved what we did. Keith Kincaid certainly, Ben Lovejoy, and also getting Connor Carrick back, and that's what we intended to do. And I think that sets us well for the future. It gives our opportunity for younger players like tonight. We got Quenneville, McLeod, Bastian in the lineup. I think that's what we're trying to do. Blackwood's back up. Obviously, that was behind the Keith Kincaid trade. And so I think the last 20 games or so is important for us as a group, and certainly younger players, and seeing how they perform, but also continuing to establish a culture we've set here over the last 18 months or so.
Yeah, Ray, and we talk about a little bit about Keith Kincaid and Corey Schneider and what happened with them over the course of the year here, and how nice was it to see Corey come back, finally find his groove in his game and his form, and did that help you feel more comfortable trading Keith down the stretch here?
Yeah, I think it was a big thing. We all know of Corey's struggles over the last 12 months, and it wasn't even, it was actually more this year. And last year the wins weren't there, but he did win that big game for us, the playoff Game 3 against Tampa Bay, stopped 34-36 if I recall. But this year it really got away from him, and a lot of people put a lot of work both on and off the ice for Corey, and Corey did the work himself. And it's great to see because, we needed some resolution, and we still have a ways to go. But I think it was important to try to establish that during his time in Binghamton, and certainly coming back up here. And once he got his feet underneath him, I think with Keith expiring contract, it wasn't so much about Keith, and what he did for us last year is amazing. The run he had for us, it was a great story to a great rebound season for us. But this was also more about Mackenzie Blackwood and really giving Keith a chance somewhere, but also Corey and Blackwood a chance to play together and see how that comes together for ourselves.
If we go, that was the start of the day, of course, the Keith Kincaid trade. So if we go all the way down to the wire, it seemed like that's when really the Marcus Johansson trade happened and went down. So can you just, I guess, give us a clue of how it did start to come together? Because with the way he's been playing as of late, it seemed like he was just garnering so much interest from a lot of different teams. Yeah, and it's and really what, Erika, it was really, there were so many top-end forwards out there this year, more so than usual, it seemed. And we were cognizant of that for sure. And over the last few days, there was a lot of interest, but I know how this is on the buying side. You're checking in with different teams. We'll get back to you. You never know. And I made it clear to Marcus as well, we're not giving him away. We value what he's done here. We value the way he's helped Nico and Brad and our team. But it came probably this morning, it really started to come together when I believe it was Nyquist was dealt last night to San Jose. And it really came together. We had to make a decision at the end between a few teams, and we thought Boston was the best fit. I said getting that 2nd-round pick in 2019, which is this year, and the 4th round next year is important. And to do that, we're willing to retain some salary with Boston, and that was important to them. So it's a win-win for everybody, and for Marcus, an opportunity to play with a good team, and for us, an opportunity to give some of these younger players a look sooner rather than later.
Yeah, well, and Ray, you and Coach Hines have spent a lot of time now trying to build a winning culture. It all starts with this brotherhood. And so how difficult is it for you when you've got to trade some key veteran guys that are important in that room, but yet still try to balance that winning culture so that young kids don't get discouraged?
Well, I think it's an opportunity, like you've been through this, Bryce. You were the captain of the team, but you came in as a younger player, obviously, when back with St. Louis and coming through Worcester, I believe. And there's a time to pass the torch, and I'm really proud of the fact the guys that we had, like Brian Boyle and Ben Lovejoy and guys like this, and with Drew Stafford here. But I think it's time to really turn it over to the younger guys a little bit as well. And we still have some really good veteran players and people like Andy Green and Zajac and Corey, obviously. But it's a message that it's their group, and I feel a lot better than I did 2 deadlines ago with that, because I think we have the culture here, and I think we have some better players, and it's time to give them the opportunity, and it's time to turn the page a bit, and it'll be exciting to see. But I think part of that culture is not just on the ice, and there'll be some ups and downs the last 20 games because of youth, but I think it's about the culture you've established since these guys were drafted. They came to their first development camp, and the expectations on and off the ice, how you conduct yourself as a player, as a person, and I think it's exciting for the coaches to work with this young group as well. And at the same time, I say it's a win-win with the players. We did give opportunities to other teams who are in the playoffs, so hopefully it goes well for everybody.
And you're talking about, obviously, continuing to build this culture here and pass the baton. With all that you did, now you guys now have 10 picks here in this 2019 entry draft. How big of a boost is that for whatever you decide to do, whether it is just through drafting or maybe trades in the offseason? How do you plan to attack it?
Yeah, I think I don't think you know that until you really get maybe after the season, but you can't get into things without assets, and those are draft picks or good players, and that's what we did. My first year with trade a couple draft picks for Palmieri, but there's other things that you do that you have draft picks. You either move up or move down, and really better yourself that way. And for every draft pick that seems like a throw-in, I remember one of my last years in Pittsburgh, we traded for Brendan Morrow for Joe Morrow, a young player, and we gave a 5th, and Dallas gave us a 3rd, and with that 3rd-round pick, we used Pittsburgh at the time. We used on Jake Gensel, pretty good player in Pittsburgh. And so you never know their assets, and as you look to the future. So we'll see where it takes us.
Now, last one here for you, Ray, is just I'd be remiss not to ask. I know a lot of fans want to find out. What's kind of the status of Taylor Hall, and where do you think he's going to? Yeah, I know you're smiling, but how's it looking for the rest of the season here with him?
I think we'll know shortly, and I've been asked that question a bit, and it's not being secretive. It's not being anything other than knowing what we know, and I think over the next day or two we'll have a better indication idea. I made it clear today for sure Taylor wants to play, but no different than Sammy Vatt, no different than Steph Nason, who are out right now. No one's going to be put back before they're 100% ready. If it's a playoff push, it's one thing. It's not. So we're going to make sure, and we'll kind of see what happens and what the prognosis will be over the next couple of days, and we'll probably have some news at that point. So, but it's a big hole in our lineup since December 23rd. That's for sure.